Perfect, perfect, perfect,
Back at it again with another Sims 4 video, and this one was actually somewhat special since I used this as an assignment for one of my literature classes where we had to go in and choose a fairy tale and then put our own twist on it. So for mine, I chose to use The Sims 4 as one of my first twists, and my fairy tale was Snow White. So I knew immediately that the first thing I needed to do was to build the Evil Queen's castle, and I knew it had to be in Glimmerbrook, and since they didn't show what the Evil Queen's house looked like in the fairy tales, I used these pictures you're seeing on the screen now to as inspiration in a way, because I kind of figured that since it's the Evil Queen that her castle will probably be black, so I just googled black castles just because, you know, it seemed fitting, especially since in the show series Once Upon a Time, their the Evil Queen and that also has a large black castle. So I kind of used the pictures I found on Google and the one from Once Upon a Time as a reference. And then since I keep forgetting that you can bulldoze a lot and still get like all the money back from it, I went in and took apart everything individually, then built it back up. And since this was supposed to be like a castle, I wanted it to be pretty tall, but it didn't seem to work out that well at first, just because of the fact that I knew this house, since it's supposed to be a castle, was going to be, it needed to be at least 3 or 4 floors high and have those little round pillars in the front, but it didn't work out. So I just started with like stairs, putting the door down, found the closest thing to dark or black brick that I could in The Sims, which is a problem because this house really just looks gray and not black, but The Sims swears that's black. I don't see it, but whatever. Maybe that makes sense to them. That's their logic or whatever. And I forgot how hard it is to build stuff in The Sims, especially considering I'm not good at it, and trying to put those little round pillars that you usually see like in the front of castles on the house made that more difficult. And of course I did eventually find the ones that The Sims has, but I couldn't get it to be the way I wanted it to while connected to the house. It wouldn't go all the way up the walls, and I'm not understanding why. And then I literally had to sit here, and it took me a while just to figure this one part out, to figure out how to connect it to the house. It did not want that to be part of the house for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know what I did wrong. It just wouldn't work. Even after I figured out how to at least somewhat put on there, it still did not want to classify that as a room. And I don't get it. Someone please tell me what I did wrong there, because I'm not understanding why it was glitching out and like that. But yeah, because from the inside, for some reason, you can see a hole in the floor in those 2 little rooms. And again, it wouldn't let me put it going up the side of the house. I would have to put another one on top of it, but even then, it wouldn't let me do that. And also, again, since in the stories, I have no idea what any of these houses or castles or whatever look like in the stories, there was nothing to go on for the outside, so I use those pictures, but especially for the inside. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go for I guess, dark colored, gothic looking interior type thing. So then I was like, you know what? We're just gonna use anything that is black or dark purple or whatever, or even just a dark color in general. And if possible, use anything from the vampire pack and the I want to say the spooky things pack, but that's not the one that you get Glimmerbrook and all that in, I don't think. Whatever the one with the wizards and witches and stuff in it is, I can't think of the name right now. Whatever that one is, I tried to use that in this too. It didn't really work out that well. And since the Sim was already here, she was going to be my Evil Queen, which, since I she's doing this all based off of her income at some point, I literally had to just start playing the game. It took a while to even get anything, and it didn't help that, well, it kind of did, but didn't help that her trait in life is that she wants to be fabulously wealthy. Yeah, she didn't have a job, but also since she wanted to be fabulously wealthy, she was just suffering for a lot of this. She was so broke because I spent all of what she had on building this house and this it I keep going back in and adding stuff to it because I really don't like the way it looks. I really don't. And since I also had the Eco Lifestyle Pack, I figured that would be the easiest way to build her money back up or whatever. Dumpster dive and all that. So I literally spent most of the beginning of this just making her dive for deals until she had a bunch of furniture she could either put in the house and fix or sell for money, and then get her own dumpster to put outside the house. That's been a trend I've been doing since I got the Eco Lifestyle Pack. Honestly, it was just that you get so much stuff from just doing diving for deals in the dumpsters, so they don't get regular trash cans. Even the one that you see a lot of people using in The Sims, where you put the stuff in the trash and it gives you simoleons or whatever. No, I don't use those anymore. They just get a big dumpster somewhere on the lot. That's it. All their stuff goes in the dumpster, and then I just make them die for deals. And actually, I think I had when I first bought the pack, I even had some Sims that I had put in one of the lots that they have in that area or world or whatever, and I technically used them to test out how the entire pack worked. And then I think one of them became a vampire, got married, and then the next time I joined I opened the Sims back up again to see how they were gone, and there was someone else living there. I don't know what happened with that or how it happened, but it just did. There's just so much time between when I make the Sims or the lots, I play with them, and then when I get back on to see what's happened since then, that a lot of them just die or disappear. I don't know what happens to them. So yeah. Which is why every time I go back in to the game and I see some of them are still there, I'm like, oh, that's surprising. I wasn't expecting to see you. Because I really don't. Mainly just because they're there 1 second and then they're not the next. I don't do anything. I'm pretty sure at one point I put it to where, actually, no, I think it was right after I had made this video. No, it was right. Actually, it was after I had not made the video, after I finished making the house or whatever. I think it was after I had I got just renovated the house more and got her married, had Snow White edit them and all that. I think I went in and I I found out there was something in the settings to where you can put it to where your Sims their life is paused when you're not in the game or something like that. So I just did like that, and and that was another thing that was interesting with this is that technically all of them were still young adults except for I basically went in and I was gonna make all the characters in Snow White, but for this assignment I only needed to do 10 pages of this little storybook and screenshot everything and all that. So it was a lot, but only the huntsman it's such an inconsistent character in all the different versions of Snow White that at one point I almost didn't put the character in, and because I forgot mainly, and then I remember it, and the sim that I used for that was already in the same area and is literally the only elder in Glimmerbrook apparently. And then remembering I had to put that sim in somehow and trying to also fix the house. Right now I'm doing the second floor of the house. The only thing that's the same in literally all the different versions of Snow White, except the Disney version, because I don't think they show us at all, was that the evil queen sits on this balcony that she has in the front of the castle or whatever, and she's basically like sitting there like knitting or quilting or whatever. It doesn't say what she's doing, but she's doing something and some sort of needlework, and she pricks her finger with a needle. It's snowing, and she's sitting on the balcony. That alone is crazy. Why are you sitting on the balcony when it's snowing? That doesn't make sense to me, because it's got to be cold. But either way, she's sitting on this balcony watching it snow, and she pricks her finger, and instead of like saying ow and trying to like dry up the blood or whatever like a normal person, she sits there staring at it, watches it drip into the snow, and says, I wish I had a daughter whose skin was white as snow, lips as red as blood, and hair as dark as this wood. I think it was like, some said cedar wood, some said like maple or apple wood, some sort of dark colored wood, which is why I think that's mainly why in the Disney version her hair is black, which doesn't make sense. But technically it's supposed to be a really dark brown that looks black. So either way, the next thing we know, she has a child, and it's Snow White. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh, right. No, I still don't know what I was saying. That's where my second twist in the story came in. Because, as we can see, this sim is black. This sim is not white, and this is what the queen. So, my second twist was that Snow White was going to be albino, basically. At first, it started off as like adding in something as in saying like, oh, no one knows for sure what race these characters are because it's a story in a book. There's no pictures. There's so many different versions from so many different cultures. Everyone just assumes that the characters look like them. So then you would never really know. Unless it's shown in a picture book as so, then that will be how it is. Just like in the Disney version, the evil queen is not Snow White's mom. But they are both, I think they said that they were like German or Swedish or something like that in the Disney version. I don't know. But either way, since this was also we had talked about in my class about how there was a lady who made her version of Little Red Riding Hood, but on the cover you see a picture of a little black girl with curly hair. People were enraged by that. So I took something from that and was like, oh, well, what if I do that with mine? It's already in the Sims, and this one Sim was already on this lot that I was planning to use. I didn't remember putting her house there or anything, or her there, so she's going to be my test subject for this. And then this happened. Like, this random dude literally just came into her house out of nowhere, started cooking stuff, broke her TV, and then said she owed him money. Like, I don't understand that or why it happened, but it just happened just randomly in the middle of this like little video of me doing this. I was so thrown off by that because I was doing homework while I was also doing this, which was also my homework. But yeah, so I was like, okay, what if like that, like making Snow White albino is like one thing, but then also you have to think about the fact that if Snow White's parents are black and then her mom goes and is doing some sort of needlework and then wishes that her daughter was as pale as snow, she's basically saying, I wish my daughter was fair skinned so she could have a better life than me, in a way, is how I was thinking with that. That was sort of my train of thought, because it's like, because I was really thinking on the lines of like how colorism and racism impact like a lot of people's lives and stuff. Slowly but surely I was seeing more videos and stuff about that on YouTube and social media and all that. So then I thought about it, I'm like, with this, oh, that would actually be a very good twist with this, because you wouldn't expect, like, not many people would assume that it would make sense for someone that is already very light-skinned or pale to wish for a child that is also very pale, you know? So I was like, what if her mother or like her parents basically were a little more melanated than she was, and the reason that she wasn't was because her mom went and wished that she wasn't, so she could have a better chance at life. That's why, sort of, what was it? A lot of people go and say, oh, light skins have it better. Oh, you got that good hair, that good skin, all of that. I was basically trying to show that in this story, and that was gonna be my twist, because like we all, or at least most of us, would know that doesn't make sense. But of course, when you think about how things were back when slavery was a thing, and all the way up to segregation, and how it was basically the more fair skinned you were, the more accepted you were into society, then and still now in some cases. So that seemed like it would be a very good twist to add to this, because then it would show that in essentially a picture book that would be for children, because it was a children's literature class. So, everybody's like talking about how most little black girls don't see themselves in stories and stuff like that. And in a way, this will be like introducing that idea to a bunch of little kids. Your mom's really dark, and she's like, I wish my child was a little bit lighter than me so she could have a better life than what I had. And then her wish comes true and it happens. And in the case of Snow White, it does happen. People think that she's really beautiful and more beautiful than her mom, who a lot of people also thought was beautiful. But then as the daughter gets older, she gets jealous. Why? Because she wished for a really beautiful pale daughter, and that's exactly what she got. And now that everyone thinks she looks better, she's mad, bitter, and basically wants revenge on her child who did nothing for something she wished for. So, careful what you wish for, basically. And yeah, I kind of just put that in The Sims and was like, okay, that's it. That's exactly how this is gonna go. And for the assignment that I did this for, we actually had to go in and write an essay explaining this too, which I did explain that to my teacher, and she was somewhat surprised, but not really surprised that I would like do something like this in like one of my stories or whatever, because I've had her class before. She said it seemed like it wasn't something that I would do, but she wasn't surprised that it was done. More of that it was me who did it and not one of her other students in the class. And I even asked her if I could do this in The Sims, and she fully agreed to that. So she was on par with that. I never even told her what the other twist was until I submitted the assignment, and yeah, she was fine with that. And honestly, at one point I thought about going and basically finishing the entire story, but that was too much work. Just doing this alone was a lot, because again, I had to pause building the playing the game or whatever building the house to play the game, because my son was broke. So I basically just was like, okay, I'm just gonna go through all of this. And basically the idea of how I did this was just build the house, make the outside look nice. Then I think I went to create a sim, made the family, whatever. And that's where I went wrong. That's definitely where I went wrong, because I basically did it the long way, just so I could go in and take screenshots as best I could in The Sims. It took so long to do this. Got a good grade out of it, and I got a video out of it, so I'm fine with that, honestly.
The sun don't shine forever, but as long as it's here, then we might as well shine together. Oh look, said better late than never, but never late is better. I guess in other words, it's time that I treasure. I guess it's time that I measure to be the essence of us both. If love is the greatest drug, well then I'm bound to overdose. I'm up in smoke.